To other news, the US House has approved funding legislation just hours before a deadline that would see the government shut down. Lawmakers passed the stopgap funding bill, extending it until mid-March. It included approving disaster relief for parts of the nation still recovering from devastating storms. It did not include the debt ceiling increase that President-elect Donald J. Trump had demanded.
House Democrats have successfully stopped the Billionaire Boys Club, which wanted a $4 trillion blank check, by suspending the debt ceiling in order to enable them to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, and cut nutritional assistance while providing massive tax breaks for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
The legislation will now go to the Senate, and joining us live is John Jordan, Republican strategist. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. So, yes, the vote was approved, 366 to 34. It goes to the Senate. It's certainly moving very quickly. What can we expect in the next hour or so?
Not much. It'll advance rapidly through the Senate and be signed by President Biden or whomever in the White House is controlling such things. Bear in mind, President Trump may have won the election. Republicans will have a majority in the Senate, majority in the House. But they don't have them yet because the new Senate isn't sworn in for a few weeks yet, and we don't have a new president yet. So right now, the Democrats control 2 out of 3, the White House, the Senate, and the Republicans control the House of Representatives. So Republicans don't really have a lot of leverage here. So it's kind of a foregone conclusion. Nobody wanted to go into the holidays, and nobody wanted to own a shutdown. So it's not surprising that this can was kicked down the road for another couple of months.
All right, and House Speaker Mike Johnson seemed adamant that there was going to be no shutdown. Thomas Massie, known a critic of Mike Johnson, says in a recent tweet, this isn't complicated, separate the bills and vote on them individually. What are your thoughts on those comments and what we just heard Hakeem Jeffries say about the Billionaires Boy Club?
Well, Hakeem Jeffries, it's hard to understand what he was talking about. This is just simply a funding bill that kicks the funding mechanism down the road for another 10 weeks. The Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries is doing his job. He's messaging everything as class warfare, even a bill that has nothing to do with it, regardless of which side you're on. So that's just political posturing, and that's to be expected. That's par for the course with something like this, especially since they're in the minority and not going to control any of the levers of government come January. Now, the test here is the Republicans have a very narrow majority in the House, when President Trump is sworn in. And it remains to be seen if Speaker Johnson can corral enough of them to make sure that the President Trump's agenda is passed, because the minority it's only going to take 3 or 4 Republicans to decide that they want to showboat in the face of unified Democrat opposition. And that's going to be what to watch going forward, is can Speaker Johnson really effectively shepherd President Trump's agenda through the House of Representatives, especially spending bills, which only require 51 votes in the Senate. And that's going to be a real test. And hopefully over the holidays, there's going to be some tough conversations between President-elect Trump and a lot of the more, how do I put this, exotic members of the Republican caucus.
Yeah, you make some good points there. So